Hey everybody, it's another special podcast of the Hibernation, and today we're going to be discussing reactions to the so-called Amazon Clickfarming scandal. Apparently, if you're an indie author or you haven't been under a rock and you're often like I am, a hard-working one, you probably heard of the Clickfarm scandal that made it big. With indie author, I forget his name right now, but anyway, I shouldn't be announcing names. That his book made it to the top one best-selling book in all the Amazon store, along with somebody else the week before who made it. And there were many reactions, believe it or not. Obviously, the way I took it is I was pretty furious that, I would be working my butt off. Meanwhile, you just have scammers reaping the rewards of a best-selling title, claiming they were bestseller and getting the rewards for it. And people like me, hardworking people, will get the short end of the stick, the screw stick. But however, that wasn't the only reaction there was on that video. Some people felt like it was a victimless crime, and it's not a big deal. After all, these were just, maybe the books were really that good and these people were just needed a boost. We'll see about that. Well, and of course some sympathize. At one point I was a sympathizer saying with the accused officer who claimed that they had no idea that the services they were hiring would use fraudulent quick farming practices, and I kind of sympathize a little bit with that. And if you're often you really don't know, you really didn't know they were using quick farms, then it's a lesson learned that you need to do your research, that you need to be a little more careful and not use those people again. It's just a fair warning. That those people, I say, you could sympathize. I'm not angry at you guys. Maybe perhaps they really didn't know what they were getting themselves into, but we'll get into that a little later. Some objected to the whistleblower. I said, why would you get angry at the one who exposed this dirty tactic? And they said because, maiming the accused officers instead of just maiming the title or just saying it happened, he actually put the person on spot. Decision critics felt, the critics felt that incited the harassment and negative reviews that followed, that people were leaving 1-star reviews without reading the book, which is, I know, is against Amazon practice and the Amazon rules. And as of today, I checked that book again, and all those 1-star reviews saying that he was a scam artist and he had used quick farms to get up to that #1 spot have been removed. So, no disappointing for me, because you kind of need to know the truth, but at the same time, it was harassment, and you know what? You can't harass an author. You have to be professional as an author as well. You have to have a professional attitude, and unfortunately these people, these so-called vigilantes, took it a little too far. And these are the people that bug me the most. Some were angry at the whistleblower for sounding the alarm, declaring that he should mind his own business. And my message to those people is, screw you. That's right, screw you. Because you're probably the ones quick farming your way up to the top. You're probably the ones sympathizing with the scammers because you are one of them. You're probably using illegal methods right now, or you're planning to use illegal methods, or you've been thinking about using illegal methods to go out there. So if you're somebody that says, "Oh, you should have not done that. He should have just kept his mouth shut and let it go," you just don't want to get caught. You just looking for shortcuts, and you're scared now. That or you did use it, or you are using it, and you're not a real author. You just scamming your way to the top. So let's just go over a few things. I know people are saying there's a victimless crime and it's not hurting anyone, but quick farming operations use cheap labor to fraudulently download and sometimes read, because the poor Nan who made it to the top one category with a fantasy book, and he made infamous in the indie world. He had he was generous enough and honest enough to show his sales, dashboard, and although he got a lot of copies, he really didn't get a lot of sales or not of, Kindle Unlimited reads. In fact, he didn't even get 10,000 up to 10,000 reads for one day, which would be normal for a best-selling book. So obviously, you may simplify that this guy just didn't know what he was doing or getting himself into, and obviously the quick farm, obviously for this poor lad, the quick farm came back and backfired at him because Amazon took his sales rank out of his book, and now his book can't rank now. So unfortunately, the so-called, if he did know he was using a quick farm, his plan to become famous backfired. Or if he didn't know he was using quick farms, then it's a hard lesson that you need to do your research, buddy. You need to really be careful who you use. And using quick farms, it's fraud. And it's harmful because it inflates the sales rank of a book, pushing down authors like me who rightfully earn that rank, who should be there. Instead, we get pushed down further because of these fake books, all these scammers. The increased sales rank results in greater visibility on retailer websites like Amazon, of course, shoving other titles out of the spotlight. Higher visibility deceives readers into thinking the book has succeeded on its own merits, and it tricks them to buying an unsatisfying title. Basically, you're cheating the customer. And unfortunately, it increased sales and downloads fortunately sees a greater share of the title share of the KDP Global Fund, which is the Kindle Unlimited program that us authors are in. So these scammers are taking, a bigger share of my money, money that me, us authors should be earning equally. They're stealing. That money doesn't come out of Amazon's account, and I think and I don't think it's right. And this is why I say Amazon needs to step it up, because it's not coming out of their accounts. It's stolen from other indies. Indies that really work hard for what they're doing. And it's getting stolen. And for me, that's the bigger problem in all this. And yes, and with Amazon being so slow to act on abuses on this system, and when they do, the collateral damage can be devastating. Think review purges. So basically, legitimate authors could lose reviews. Legitimate reviews could be deleted because Amazon is trying to catch on the act on abuses on the systems. And meanwhile, they're targeting legitimate authors such as me. I've lost a couple of reviews for some unknown reason. And I don't use any illegal methods. So unfortunately, the collateral damage is there, and sometimes it could result in other people, getting the books taken out of publication because of typos. Meanwhile, somebody using a quick farm to boost their way to the top 10. I mean, shit, come on, folks. It's not, it's not rocket science. And it's not a victimless crime. Stop saying quick farming is not a victimless crime, because it is. Because the victims are not corporate giants, but rather than the authors who are simultaneously robbed of the rightful share of the global fund and shove further down the slippery ladder of the bestsellers list. And you may say the author made an honest mistake. I might believe that. But here's the problem. Each of the authors implicated in this Irish author called David Glungelin, I mean, excuse me if I'm pronouncing your last name wrong. I am not good with names, but there's an article that that were implicated. These authors these authors were implicated of using quick farms. Not only denied knowledge of quick farming, they refused to identify the companies involved once the quick farming was exposed. So even though they denied it, but they didn't want to give away the company that they did use. Although I think the one for the fantasy book, I kind of found out he did use a website called boostebook.com, but that website has gone down and it is not operational. So they just after the quick farming was exposed, they just disappeared into thin air. So I think he tried to do the right thing and say who he went with, but unfortunately the company did one better and just disappeared. But at the end of the day, the services we hired to promote our work are our proxies. They represent us to the world. So in other words, it's our responsibility. We have to do our due diligence to look up these companies and make sure they're not using illegal practices. And although it's possible that these authors were initially unaware that they were hiring an unethical and potentially illegal quick farming service, however, actively protecting these companies by not giving out information on who they used, and I know the other author, which I'm not going to name, he did not want to say what company he used. All he would say was, I bought 20 ads. 20 ads, they could be anything. You could be making it up. It could have been 20 quick farming sites. But by not saying what these services are and concealing the identity goes beyond ignorance or negligence or just being caught. It's a cover-up. That deliberate cooperation with scammers shatters any possibility of the officer's innocence. In other words, they are actually a part of the crime. They're actually doing the crime. The reason for the silence, this is hard to figure out, because if they name the companies, people will investigate them, and it will become immediately obvious that there was no way someone could mistake these operations for a legitimate marketing service. So the reason they don't want to say anything is because they obviously bumped into a website that used unethical and illegal practices, but they decided to buy into the services anyway, despite the fact that they were illegal services. They still went on to buy the service and use the service, which is why they don't want to review nothing or give them away, because people will find out that even though they were honest enough to say who they are, but when you look at the website, you could smell dirt. You could smell something really rancid in the air, and they still went along with it anyway, which makes them just as guilty as the person offering the services. And of course, more finally, it's none of your business what other people do. So it's not my business that you're using quick farming sites and stealing my visibility, stealing my share of the KDP Global Fund that I'm starting to kind of step it up with. I'm kind of starting to see fruit from my neighbor, and you're going to just push me down. It is my business what the hell you're doing. It is my business knowing that you are going up there because of your own merits and not cheating, because I don't cheat. Part of that, confronting the detrimental practices that harm our sales, undermine reader confidence, and damages the reputation of the indie author community as a whole. So in other words, you're making me look bad. You're making me and indie author look bad, and that's not right. And I'm not going to stand by that. And unfortunately, watchdogs, and I'm getting dangerously close to becoming a watchdog. And you know what? I got no problem with exposing people to justice. It could be a thankless job, unfortunately. Watchdogs are sometimes targets of criticism, harassment, abused by those unhappy with an assessment. Watchdogs, and I'm afraid I'm going to be talking with one-star reviews, revenge reviews. They've been threatened with frivolous lawsuits. They've been labeled. They've been called every name in the book. But you know what? I'm going to persevere, and all these watchdogs are going to persevere, because turning a blind eye to scammers and con artists would allow those bad actors to damage the industry that we depend on and grow on. Novice authors deserve better than to be preyed upon scammers and snake oil salesmen who are using illegal methods to make their way to the top. So, what I'm trying to say is we're exposing this out there, not because we want to be assholes. It's because we want to highlight critical problems in systems like the Amazon KDP Global Fund distribution. We authors have the right to know about issues that may affect the Amazon income and sales rank. And unfortunately, industry watchdogs, which I kind of signed up to be soon, are the only objective source for that information. And I really did an emotional video, and finding out about this scam, it almost pushed me to quit. I almost quit writing because of this BS. Amazon is going around deleting reviews. Meanwhile, the bigger problem is it's right in front of their faces. I'm reading this article from the Alliance of it's called ALLI, or the Alliance of Independent Authors, which I am a member of. I am a member of the Alliance of Independent Authors. And so this is a big deal because this is part of my community. And they added a new code, saying, I do not attempt to artificially manipulate reviews, downloads, or sales in any way. I understand that the promotional services I hire are an extension of my reputation, so I take the time to verify they use only legal and ethical methods. So if they are using Clickfarming, it is my responsibility. It is my problem. In other words, I didn't do my due diligence if I am caught using Clickfarming. Always research services before you hire them. You can identify questionable services by a combination of too good to be true promises, such as guaranteeing bestseller status. Something's wrong when they say guaranteeing bestseller status. Something's up in the air, and it's funny. And a refusal to disclose their methods. You have a right to know how a company will operate on your behalf. And any company that refuses to disclose its methods is not to be trusted. In other words, they're using illegal methods their purpose is they mean well to try to help you, but they're doing it the wrong way. And at the end of the day, they might not even be really helping you, because they may get you the sales rank up there, but all they may be doing is just following your book on KU, on Kindle Unlimited, and not even reading the pages. So even though your sales rank maybe go up to the top 100, but you have no sales to prove it. Your actual sales are zero, and your actual page reads on Kindle Unlimited are zero. So you may have gotten 1,000 plus Kindle Unlimited downloads for your book, but they're only fake, fake ghost borrows. You got a bunch of ghosts borrowing your book, and no one's taking the time to read the book. So in other words, you got 1,000 people borrowing your book, but out of 1,000, only maybe 1, 2, or maybe nobody reads your book. You're just being taken for a ride, and the only one that's going to get in trouble is you, because the guy behind the guy on the other side of the computer just got your money, and he could easily just disappear or rename his website or go to another domain while you're sitting there like a fool getting taken. And at the end of the day, the consequences of unethical shortcuts by Clickfarming are severe. This could result in the loss of your royalties, a ban from Amazon, a lawsuit, and damage to your reputation and career. Choose your service providers wisely, people, and always remember, if it seems too good to be true, that's because it likely is too good to be true. So, at the end of the day, I'd like to say every author agrees with my point of view, but sadly, not everybody does agree with it. Although I kind of know these people who don't agree with me, I kind of feel they may be part of the scam, or they're just too ignorant to understand. Anyway, Clickfarming, not cool. Don't do it. Please share the video with your author friends and your reader friends and your fans. And authors, please view this video as an educational one, and share with your author friends. Let the people know. Make this video viral. Make this scandal viral. Make sure Amazon understands what exactly is going on, because I am kind of getting sick and tired of it. So I think that's going to do it for this podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something new. And if you already know this this is just a refresher course for you. Please give me a mic. If you like it, comment as you see fit. Click on the link below if you want to read the article in full. I will post a link to the article in the descriptions tab. Click those links in the description to get to my Twitter, Facebook book page, and support this channel on Patreon. So for Angel Ramon, this has been a very educational podcast, and Ranger Remote, signing off.